Hello everybody and welcome back to Gothic Times with Geo Cash. It's been a while since we last spoke, and I've lots to catch you up on. What's happening in the realm of the dark, the crows, the misery, so much and so little, as I always say. So thank you again for joining me today. I'm Geo Cash and welcome to Gothic Times.
What? No.
As an avid podcast watcher myself, I find it very important to have this medium. And when I look back on my entire life of what podcasts were, wow, what a journey we have witnessed. Originally, podcast to me meant like something my mom's watching, maybe like ultra produced. It's something about psychology, it's something about science, it's something about quantum physics, it's something about some mystical stuff, it's something about comedy. And I promise I will bring all of these to the table to you on this podcast journey. This will be a tri-yearly podcast, meaning I will try my best every day of every year to give you the best outcome. So, Gothic Times. What does this mean? Well, Goths. Goths have a long history. Music. I'd say this is what a lot of people associate Gothicness with, but even though I've always enjoyed Gothic music, I really had this fascination with Goths since I was so young, and I didn't even put two and two together that this music that like my parents taught me about and I sort of liked, like The Cure, Joy Division, Depeche Mode, all this type of stuff. I actually didn't really know this is goth music, but I knew this music, I liked it. But I just knew goth as something, well, the aesthetic, the look, yes, but let's talk about it. What did this mean for me, a young goth at heart? So I didn't even see it like, oh, this is a goth fashion, like some black clothing, some painted white face, some makeup. I really remember the first time I saw a goth was on this street that my dad lived on, #divorced parents, represent. And there was this duplex, and on one half it was like party house, like sort of the type of thing you're low-key afraid of as a child, but you're just rolling with it. You're like, okay, these guys are probably having fun. Your parents sort of like don't want to talk to you about what's really going on there. It's a bit shady. There's like always police going on there. It's like a lot of stuff. But anyway, this was one half of the house. The other half, a Gothic king. And the crazy thing is, if I remember correctly, his like whole family was goths. And this guy was probably like in his late teens, early 20s. But he was goth. He had super long hair, dressed in all black, and he would go out into the street barefoot and have this like big sort of, I don't even know what it is, baton, sword, like a magic wand, but quite tall, like probably bigger than him. Like a staff, that's what it's called, a staff. And he would take his staff and go out onto the street and just practice with it and do all these things like wheeling it, sort of, you know, like and yeah, he really just did this a lot on the street in the bare feet, and he had extremely long black hair, black clothing. He was goth. And I think this is where I learned the word goth, because my mom, she's like dropping me off for the weekend or something. She's like, I ask, I don't know, somehow it gets brought up, I hear the word goth, this guy's a goth. I later learn like his whole family was goths, and I just thought that was so cool. Why was it cool to me? Because this is the most alternative way of living. I'm coming from a very small town. Everyone is basic as fuck. Well, there's non-basic people, but most of the people are really basic. And then there's just these goths who are like completely different. They're going in the barefoot. They don't even care. They're not even anxious that they're beside this like crazy party house. They're just living their life, twirling their batons in the street. And I was like, this is so cool. And then the fact that the whole family was gothic, I'm like, this is even cooler. Because if you see something alternative, you know, especially as a kid, it's like, oh, this is just something some young, dumb people do. This is nothing legitimate. But his whole family was gothic. So I really felt like, wow, this could really be a way of life. And that's what it was to me, a way of life. It wasn't about like the style, although that's the most eye-catching thing. And at this time, I didn't even know it was about music. I just was like, wow, these people are really living some alternative life. Flash forward probably like many a year, but I'm still very young, like maybe in middle school age. And I'm like having an iPad mini, and I'm in a fight with my mom about probably something dumb because my mom is the realist one. So we're in some fight. I remember feeling so upset, and I was like, well, how do I express how do I express myself? And I just went on to my iPad mini and I was like gothic goth girl wallpaper or something, and I just found this photo of this like goth woman, and she was like posing sort of like sexy almost, to be honest, and I was like, yes, this shows and captures the darkness I feel within me right now after this fight with my mom. And I just set this as my iPad mini screensaver, and for some reason that really was like, wow, I really just like outletted my anger, and I'm once again looking for an outlet for my anger. So hit me up if you have any recommendations. Maybe yeah, maybe I need to go back to the gothic wallpaper. Anyway, goths. So yes, I've never dressed as a goth in my real life, but I have always identified with being a goth at heart since the moment I was born. And that's just the truth. So, again, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Sorry for the inconvenience, but you know what I'm not sorry for? My next topic. So, okay, sorry, I'm just gonna make sure this is actually recording the audio. Okay, we're good. Okay. For this next topic, we're getting a little deeper. View it whichever way you want. We're either putting on the black eyeliner or maybe we're taking it off, whichever is more deep to you. So, the next topic, I was just thinking, okay, what's been on my mind recently? What do I want to share to the beautiful listeners of Gothic Times? And this is what's really been on my mind recently. Something about maybe if you're super thinking like something's wrong with you and like you're doing something differently, and sort of you have some ideas that you want to do and some, dare I say, hashtag dreams that you want to achieve, but you're just feeling like, wow, sort of confused because you're seeing people doing this and you're feeling inspired, but then you're also feeling sort of shitty because you're like, oh, it's not me and I want to be doing that, or just confused. Confused. That's why I say that word, because this is what I've been thinking about recently. I can feel very confused when it comes to my endeavors because I see people doing them and I'm like, okay, this is possible. That could be me. This is possible to do. But everyone's doing it in some different way. That's sort of seeming the same though. Like it all feels like they understand something that I don't. And it feels like I have the desire to do something. I have the ideas, I have the means to do it. Like, I don't know if it's something about art, really. You can have the most basic trash from the street. It's cliche, but I think it's honestly true. I think you really need very little. Okay, and then I'll be like, so why don't I do it? And sometimes it's almost like I'm waiting for this like final mystery piece to click. And why wait for that? I don't know. I don't think it even exists, and that's what I'm here to talk about. I think sometimes you can feel like, oh, you need to be doing something like everyone else to make it work and to be valid with it, but this has been my recent thought recently, is that I think actually you can just do something in a completely different way, and not only is it okay, but it's actually going to be your asset. Sounds so basic, but I don't know. I really had to realize this and think to myself, all of these things that I keep thinking I have to fix these before I can do this, I think those things to fix is actually what's going to make me at least have a lot of fun doing these things I want to do, and so that's enough reason to do it. But even besides the fun, I think it actually can be the real asset to yourself, and just do what the goths do, you know? Do your own thing, go twirl the baton in the street in your bare feet. It's okay, even if no one else is doing it. That's what will make you outstanding. You can sit down if you want, like, you don't have, okay. Just taking care of my producer. since with this publication, financial benefits that we get as a very professional and sort of how do you call it, financially supported and produced podcast, I need to make sure my staff is taken care of. So don't mind the small interruption. But you really can sit if you need to. Okay. What led me to podcasting? Honestly, just the fact I talk a lot. Sometimes I think right now it feels a bit nervous. Let me be vulnerable with you, viewer. It actually feels very nervous to make this first podcast, and I already know I will look back on this and be like, what the fuck was I doing? It's gonna take practice. It's gonna take powering through. And I hope wherever you are listening, somehow I'm still captivating your attention or captivating your non-attention. Maybe this has seamlessly brought you into a flow of whatever you're doing, and now I'm breaking you out of it and you're like, what the fuck? And then in this moment that you're cognizant, once again, you can like and subscribe. So I was really thinking, I think I've maybe practiced some type of podcast or talking to people for years of my life, because I have some like Finsta, like fake Instagrams with like 3 people following, and I'm always making some videos and I'm like, hey guys, okay, so I guess that's more vlogger than podcast, but that is maybe my roots, the vlogging lifestyle, YouTube lifestyle. I wanted to make some YouTube channel when I was a child so much, like truly so much. And the only reason I made YouTube videos, I probably had a whole channel's worth of videos, but I never posted it because I was not allowed to. Maybe that's what I fought with my mom about. That made the Gothic screensaver appear. Anyway, never posted them, and it's really in the past year, literally 1 year ago, on this very day, on this very hour. Just kidding. But around a year ago, I started my YouTube channel, and I've just been posting stuff on it, mostly music related. In fact, this music stuff is really what brought me the inspiration of this thing of like, if you're doing something differently, it's okay. That actually could be a positive thing. That's me with music, man. I really actually have some passion for it. Never really realized that about myself, to be honest. I never really realized it about myself. I did some music stuff since I was a kid, you know, like they make you do the lessons your whole life, and then you're like in a band in high school. And then next thing you know, your boyfriend's in the band, and then you're breaking up, and then you have a band trip, and then what would have been your anniversary is happening on the band trip that you're with your ex, and it's like, dang. And you're like 16 years old, so this is like crushing your soul, and you're just trying to play it cool, but you're like, what the fuck? And then you go to the Kate Spade store and you buy yourself a $200 bag with like all your savings, because you're like, I'm just gonna be a bad bee and buy this bag. And then you still have this bag today, and that's actually the bag I brought all of my podcasting equipment in to the studio today. So yeah, anyway, so I always wanted to make YouTube videos. I never did, and I've just really always talked to like 5 people following my niche private social media accounts, and I think that's practice. Not only that, I have for years, this is true, talked to myself on like a MacBook photo booth, on my camera, just random videos. I've really documented my life randomly, just talking about deep shit. Way more. You will have to reach me to 5 million subscribers before I go that deep with you on here on the Gothic Times today, because I will go deep. I will really do like a therapy episodes with myself on the camera, and that's what I'm gonna try to like, not channel that like topics, but I'm gonna try to maybe bring some of this energy to my podcast, because I can really talk endlessly, like endlessly for so long, and there's no stopping me. And just, it's like stream of consciousness. I'm like, whoa, I have all these things to say, and I'm just saying it. And yeah, this happens quite easily when I'm by myself. So maybe the difference is because when you're by yourself, you can really talk about what is deep inside you. It can really be that therapy episode. I could do that right now, but I'm like, I don't really feel the need to really bare my soul like that on YouTube. again, until I reach 5 million subscribers. So meet back with me in a few days. We should reach that goal, and then I'll be really spilling all the real details to you. Speaking of spilling the real details, let's get into some details of my summer. Fall is here, the most gothic season of all, but before fall must come summer. We must suffer through. I like summer. I've started enjoying it, to be honest, but it wasn't always that way. Well, actually, yeah, I guess I always liked aspects of it, but some ways it's sort of stressful to me because you have a lot of like pressure, like you feel like you have to really be doing so much. And then you realize summer is really like 2, 3 months, and you're treating it almost like it's a whole year of its own, and I say that that's fucked up. But anyway, this summer I was at some sort of like, let's just call it artist retreat instead of residency, because it really felt somehow like a treat. So a retreat. No, but very like DIY fun vibes. But I'm not going to talk about that. But the reason I bring it up is because I really had this crazy experience there where you can really do everything that if you were doing that in front of other people, you would feel so like overthinking it, like, oh, is this normal what I'm doing? Like even just something simple as like going and like leaving a group and going sitting and doing some like writing or drawing just by yourself, or just any, for me that's what it would be, but just like anything, just like to clear your mind, just have some time alone, or make some, I don't know, you can really, it could really just be like existence, and no one is questioning it, like, and especially with all these actions that are usually like low-key questioned, like even if it's in a chill way, but someone's like, oh, what are you doing, so like, I don't know, even if they're like just interested, but they say it in this like faux judgmental way, because that's, you know, to like inquire. Like sometimes I go sit at my friend's bar and I'm just drawing there because she's working, I'm visiting her, and I just draw pen and ink drawings, and I'm like just doing my thing. And then sometimes people will just be like, oh, so you draw. And it's like, that's fine to say, like, curiosity, it's a hostel bar, this is to be expected, but it'll just be a bit like they're acting like this is such some random alien thing to do, but it's like, this is just what I'm choosing to do with my time. And where I was in the summer was really just like, there would be no questions. You could just do anything and people will like understand why you're doing that, because they just understand some part of your brain. And that to me was sort of life-changing. I'm not gonna lie, that's so cool. And I really think this is a good way to just live your life every day. Like, why not just, maybe for some people this is easy, but I find it a little hard, notoriously, to just like accept that I'm doing something. Like if I'm just doing something, I will find that hard to like own that. And if someone else comes around, I think that's why I can really enjoy being alone. One of the many reasons why I can enjoy being alone is because like no one is there to look at you and ask what you're doing. And yeah, I really have now found some way that it's actually possible to just do whatever you want to do, and like even if someone's going to be looking at you or a bit judging. Where I also live now has really helped with this, because people just ignore you straight up. Also, they won't ignore you, but I'm talking about like, say you're looking crazy or doing something wild like on the street. Like I was doing this series where I was cutting people's hair in like all different locations, all different type of haircuts. Actually, we have the same producers as this podcast, as this mini series of the hair, so yes, it's like a really big production company, as you can tell. But anyway, so I was one time cutting someone's hair on the street, like right outside the grocery store, just like on the street. It was nighttime, there's some like nice lights, that's why we chose this area. People just walking past, like if I was doing this at home, people would be really like stopping and talking to you, like, what are you doing, oh my god, and like definitely stopping to stare. But here, people just like walk past, like head down, they're just like not even looking at all. So this is sort of helpful for me because it can let me just keep doing my thing. And yeah, I think like even at even this will sound so dumb, but even just like at a party. Say you're at the club, you're at a party. Say I want to do something like dance, and then I want to go get a drink and dance some more, and then I want to go take a break and smoke. Just hypothetically. In the past, and still sometimes now, but now I can fight against it and it will be killed in a matter of minutes. But in the past, this would be insanely hard for me to do. Insanely hard, because I would be thinking, okay, but what am I supposed to be doing in this environment? What are people going to be thinking when they look at me doing these things? I need to make sure I look like I'm doing the right thing. And it's actually hard to articulate, but it really sort of sucks, because then you're not even doing what you're wanting to do, or if you're doing something, you can't even enjoy it because you're just sort of like overthinking it the whole time. Like, is this normal, or are people going to be wondering why I'm doing this? And somehow now I just really tell myself, like, if I'm I'll be like, if I'm enjoying myself, then everyone should want to be me. Like, not in an egotistical way at all, but in a way, like, if I'm worried about people's judgment, well, they should, if I'm truly enjoying myself, if I'm doing the things that I want to do and listening to like my body in those moments, and so I'm really doing exactly what I want to do, which means I'm sort of having the best time possible. Like, again, we're in like the party context. It means I'm having the best time possible because I'm like, moving throughout the space as I want to, or like dancing as I want to, or whatever. I'm like, if I'm truly enjoying myself, then everyone, if they're having an observation, they should just be seeing that I'm like truly just doing my most enjoyment, and then they should be wanting that for them. Not necessarily what I'm doing, but their only thought should be like, wow, someone's really fucking enjoying their time and their life in this very moment. Either like same, so rock on, or like, wow, wish that was me. And not that I'm like wanting people to like wish they were me. This is the opposite of what I'm trying to say. Just something about like feeling confidence, because if you're truly enjoying yourself, you're doing nothing wrong, and that should show through above any other judgments people might have about you. And I guess it may be better to just be like, who cares if someone judges me? And this is honestly easier for me to feel. I think the situation here is that like it's really some moment that I am enjoying myself, and then I feel for some reason shame about that, and that's why I fear their judgment. So I don't fear judgment if I'm doing something a bit more like less showing my soul per se, like say it's just an outfit on the street, or like some life choices, or something I'm gonna say, or an opinion I share, or an action I do that's just more like practical. I'm not gonna, if I stand behind that, I'm not gonna fear judgment, because I don't know, this really was always some positive sign for me growing up. If the people are judging me, it means I'm sort of doing something right, because I really grew up in this like very like small town. Everyone, not everyone, but like vast majority is like the most conservative, basic, old, hashtag retirement community, rich, very primarily white, and just like true white, like basic, no intelligence levels, just like rolling in their own shit every day. Okay, sorry, but it's true. So if they're judging me, that's a really positive sign. So yeah, I don't mind some judgment, but if it's like, this is why I give the party example, because it's like if I'm doing what I actually want to do, and then this creates like pure enjoyment for myself, and it's just like me doing something to enjoy for myself, for some reason I feel such a shame about this, that's the thing that I fear the judgment about for some reason. So that's why my sort of like mantra to get out of this is like, so what if I'm enjoying? If people can tell that, then they should enjoy themselves too, basically. Okay, speaking of mantras, this will be my final closing segment for the evening. One day I will have like a 3-hour long podcast, but to start we'll keep it amuse-bouche level, a little gift from our chef, if you will. Mantras. Going back to the music and sort of like discovering things about yourself. So cheesy, but it's true. And this type of thing, something I learned is like, I think I love singing, and this is crazy. This is crazy to admit because, like, truly, I never even sang by myself when I was like younger or all through growing up. I wouldn't even do it alone. I wouldn't even do it in the shower. I was just like not speaking, barely, not sure as hell not singing. Like, no, I didn't even think of this as like some idea or inspiration. Or like, yeah, it just was like not in my realm. Like, I'm really horrible at math and these type of things, and like that's what singing was to me, was like same genre, just something so out of my world and out of my realm. And then like I low key realized I was into it, but I still felt like I had no skills on it. Yeah, I would just really feel like, okay, I actually have interest in this, but like I can't be like da 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 da. Like I was like, no, no skills. And until I really learned some Bon Buddhist mantras, that's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, these mantras like seriously made me realize I actually can sing. Somehow this made me realize like, oh, I actually can sing. I just need to know what to do with my voice. Of course I'm going to sound bad if I'm trying to like copy the exact notes and pitch and way of singing as like a certain song. But I realized I think there is a voice I can tap into that's good for singing. And it's a lower range. I would say it's on the more low range of things. Um, so that's sort of interesting. My message to you is this. If you're thinking about singing, go for it. And maybe start with a Gothic song. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Gothic Times with Geo Cash, brought to you by The Goth Today. Produced by a secret production company. So yeah, thank you so much for my first podcast. As you can see, I've been sipping wine this whole time, and so to leave you off, this one's for you. And if you're non-alcoholic, then this is non-alcoholic wine. Thank you for watching. Okay, I had to end it because I really can only think of so many topics. Oh no. Oh, I really hope this kept recording. Okay, it did.